All right, welcome back, everyone. Thank you for joining us for this last panel of the afternoon as part of our Georgetown Global Forum. I'd like to remind you that for the questions and answers portion of this panel, we're going to wait towards the end, and then those wishing to ask a question can approach the microphone and do so, and we'll call you. The panelists will call on you to answer the questions. So now to introduce our next panel, we have Ricardo Ernst. Dr. Ricardo Ernst is a Deputy Dean and Professor of Operations at Georgetown's McDonough School of Business. His research interests include strategic analysis of logistics systems at both macro and micro levels. He has been involved in developing metrics and performance evaluations for the logistics requirements and challenges for coordinating complex supply chain projects, including nonprofit organizations like the Pan American Health Organization and EXIM Bank. Dr. Ernst is also co-director of the Global Logistics Research Program at Georgetown, which seeks to analyze issues in global logistics through a comprehensive program of cooperation with companies, field studies, and academic research. He is the co-author of Global Operations and Logistics, as well as more than 25 publications in academic journals. In January 2007, Ernst was recognized by the United States Citizenship and Immigration Services with the Outstanding American by Choice Award. This award recognizes the outstanding achievements of naturalized U.S. citizens. He recently brought his expertise in supply chain management and logistics to the nonprofit world during a fact-finding mission to Africa with the Fritz Institute, a nonprofit organization that assists relief agencies in disaster management worldwide. Dr. Ernst. There you are.
Thank you very much. Welcome. We want to welcome you all to session also known as happy hour, given the time. Welcome to this second panel dealing with relief and reconstruction. I believe the title has a lot of significance in light of the current events. Either Mother Nature or the financial creativity requires us to think carefully about relief and reconstruction. In both, new technologies and business models are increasingly at the center of relief and rebuilding efforts. The fact of the matter is that technology has allowed for the creation of virtual organizations that enable new and traditional organizations to operate at a different speed. Everything is faster. We talk faster, we type faster, we eat faster, we think faster, we move faster, we act faster, we drink faster. New business models are required. That's a requirement of this new environment. But we have to be careful and pay attention to the two key rules of technology. The first rule of any technology is that when applied to an efficient operation, it will magnify the efficiency. The second is that when technology is applied to an inefficient operation, it will magnify the inefficiency. The greatest danger in modern technology is not that machines will begin to think like people, but that people will begin to think like machines. The new dynamic is redefining who and how relief and stability are brought to crisis areas. We are excited about this panel. It will examine how existing institutions are evolving in light of these changes. In particular, the processes of delivery of relief efforts create the possibility of a new space for unconventional action or even rendering existing institutions irrelevant. It will also look at new players and new methods in providing relief and rebuilding. The panel will explore key questions, we hope, such as, are the first world governments the most effective players in relief and rebuilding? How are corporations and non-traditional organizations affecting mobilization of relief efforts? What are the measurable outcomes of social media when applied to relief and recovery efforts? Facebook, Twitter, anyone? Are social media efforts more than talk and status updates? Facebook, Twitter, anyone? Can the new relief and rebuilding models endure if affected countries have limited political and cultural development? One thing is for sure, never before in history has technology offered promise of so much to so many in such a short period of time. Now it is my real privilege to introduce the moderator of the panel, Neil Ashe. Neil serves as a president of CBS Interactive. In this role, he is responsible for overseeing CBS Interactive business strategy and vision, including sales, marketing, product development, and international operations. Previously, he served as the CEO of CNET Networks, Inc., until the company was acquired by CBS Corporation in May of 2008. At CNET Networks, he led company's content expansion strategy, including numerous acquisitions to develop its existing products and expand into new categories, both domestically and internationally, which help attract new audience and customer segments. During the tenure, the company acquired or launched mp3.com, Cho, BNet, Urban Bay, and China-based ZOL, PC Home. You can ask about that to him later. I'm just being nice with him currently.
Where's the 140 character limit?
I know, sorry, but you write such a long CV of yourself. So anyway, prior to joining CNET, and it's 10 pages long, I'm making 1 page. So he founded several other things that are way beyond this panel. So, but I have to say the following. He holds an MBA from an unknown community college called Harvard Business School. And my personal claim to fame, is that Ashe was my student. So Neil was my student. So it is my real privilege to introduce to you guys Neil.
Thank you. I'm embarrassed to say that was probably 23 years ago, but I'm not embarrassed to say that he looks exactly the same as he did back then. As Ricardo was so kind to point out, I've made my career on the internet. And the internet has really changed, I think, the way that everyone thinks about everything. And so when you talk about the pace of change and how and why it's accelerating, it really can be traced, in my opinion, to the ability to inspire the imagination of people. And by connecting everyone in the world, we've empowered all the people whose imaginations have been inspired. And that's changed everything. It's changed businesses. We built a relatively large company that we then sold to CBS. And we recognized that we need to change our business, reinvent our business every 3 years in order to try and keep pace with technology. So CNET was launched in 1994. When we were sold to CBS, we were the 10th largest internet network in the world. Now we're the 7th. And in that 15-year tenure, we've grown from 0 to serving about 250 million people. Facebook, alternatively, has grown in the last 3 years from serving no one to serving about 400 million people. Twitter has grown from nowhere in the last year to serving about 150 million people in the United States alone. So what we thought we were on the cusp of with pace of innovation and change has only accelerated. And that's the impact of technology. And that has also changed, obviously, the expectations of our populace, both in the developed world as well as in the developing world, and has created the opportunity for the world to be flat. And in such created a need for a lot of what we're going to talk about today. So what I intend to do is introduce each of the panelists with a little bit of their bio and ask them to talk about their organizations, and then we'll open it up for questions. So first, Father Matthew Carnes, who is a professor in the government department at Georgetown, has an extensive experience on the ground in Latin America and the provision of aid. And has done a tremendous amount of research on aid as well. So, Father Carnes.